Hi, I'm Paul Shearman. I'm the writer and performer of The Last Audition. At its simplest, this is a solo play about an aging Shakespearean actor who finds his memory for words beginning to fade with the years. It's King Lear meets the father through the lens of a working actor. The idea for the piece actually came from a very personal fear. As an actor, everything depends on the ability to hold language, to memorize, to recall, to stay present. And I started asking myself, what happens if that begins to go? That fear became more specific. What if someone like Ian McKellen or Anthony Hopkins, actors working brilliantly into their later years, suddenly started to lose access to their words? What would that look like on stage? If there's also a personal connection. Both my father and my grandfather experienced memory issues later in life, and I've been around friends going through this with their own parents. So the question became, what if a Shakespearean actor, someone whose entire identity is built on language, begins to lose it? That's where Sebastian Drake came from. He's preparing for what may be his final audition for King Lear, but as he rehearses, memory starts to slip, time starts to blur, and the stage becomes a place where his past and present collide. The show is intentionally intimate. It's just me, the audience, and the language. Partly that came from a practical place. I wanted to create something that could tour the world, simple, flexible, and actor-driven. But it also became the right form for the story. Because when memory starts to go, there's nowhere to hide. And I'll be honest, this piece scares me. Doing Shakespeare is already terrifying. Doing it alone with no one else on stage and no safety net, that's very real. Going up on lines is something every actor fears. This play lives right on that edge. What I really wanted audiences to take away is empathy. Empathy for people living with dementia, but also for the people around them, the caregivers, the families. Because it's not just one person's experience, it affects everyone. What's been most meaningful is hearing how audiences respond. People often describe it as honest, moving, poignant, emotional, tender, sometimes even heart-rending, but also relatable. And that's important to me because this isn't a distant issue. It's something many of us will face in one way or another. What excites me about taking this show to places like Australia, the US, Canada, and the UK is that this story connects everywhere. Dementia is universal. It's devastating. But there's also growing awareness around how we can reduce risk and support people through it. So the conversations after the show really matter. If I had to sum it up, The Last Audition is about what happens when an actor begins to lose the very thing that defines him and what it means to keep going anyway. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate you being part of the journey. Thank you.